Good morning, everyone. My name is Kolt Buchenroth, and I'm the Marketing and Communication Director here at the Hardin County Fair. And joining me today is Amanda Rains from the Extension Office. Amanda, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, so we are going to kind of give you an overview, a very brief overview of all of the changes that have happened with the fair. And you can definitely, and you should definitely, go to the fair website and check out the health plan that has been posted, because that has all of the guidelines that we're all going to follow so that we can have an awesome show week.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'd encourage you to go on there right now, hardincountyfair.org/coronavirus. You can follow along with us if you'd like to in the health plan, but definitely read that one. It's 36 pages. There's a lot of information there that talks about how we're going to have a safe and successful fair this year, which we're really looking forward to. One of the big notes to make, I guess, early on is that we are going to have a junior fair only, and that was directed by Governor Mike DeWine, the state of Ohio. Beginning August 1st, all fairs after that date have to be junior fair only. So that's obviously a very drastic change from what we know in years past when it comes to a lot of our senior fair competitions and the public being out here. That's not going to be where we're going to be this year, and that's unfortunate. You know, that's not really anything anybody wants to have to say.
But we're still going to have a junior fair. Mm-hmm. It's going to be really successful because we're all going to work together to make sure that our 4-Hers, our FFA members, and all of our junior fair participants have the opportunity to showcase their projects, to show their animals, and to have that closure for their whole project.
Right.
So we're all going to have to work as a team on this, not just the junior fair board and not just the fair board and the exhibitors, but the whole community is going to have to work as a team to make sure that we get to have our full junior fair. And so we're going to give you a little bit of an idea of what that's going to look like in this video. The simple thing is there's going to be some rules and we all have to follow them. So one of those important rules is going to be mask wearing. That's been mandated by the governor. So we're all going to wear masks anytime that we're on the fairgrounds during the fair week. And we're going to do the social distancing. There's going to be a lot of different things that you'll notice that are different about the fairgrounds this year to make sure that we can all be safe and healthy.
And Amanda, you mentioned the mask piece. We, as the Hardin County Fair Board, I shouldn't say we because I'm not on the board, but the board is, through the generosity of the Hardin County Commissioners, will be purchasing everyone a mask to wear for the fair. So we're requiring that it's got to be on during the fair, and so we are providing you an opportunity to make sure that we do that. And it's approved by the health department and all of that. It's going to be top notch. So we will talk a little bit more about how you're going to get that here in just a little bit. But Amanda mentioned the social distancing. That is going to be a must at all times as we move through the fair. You're going to hear that a lot. We're going to get sick of saying it, and you're going to get sick of hearing it. But it's better than actually getting sick. So
absolutely. So let's talk about admission a little bit, because as Cole already mentioned, the fair is not going to be open to the public this year. We are trying our very best to keep numbers down so that, again, we can keep that distancing, we can keep everybody safe and healthy. So what the Fair Board has decided to do is give every exhibitor a wristband, just like in typical years. These are going to be color-coded by species. So a certain wristband will be assigned to each species show so that you have to have that color to make it into that show. So if you're showing in multiple shows, you will have multiple wristbands. So every exhibitor gets that, and then they're also going to get 4 additional wristbands for their family members and the people that are important to making sure that that member has what they need for their project and for their show.
And that's really important to note that just because you're getting 4 wristbands, that doesn't mean you have to use all 4 wristbands. We want that to be, actually we're required to have that be just immediate family and people essential to that project. You know, maybe somebody that's a breeder where the animal stays or that owns the animal, something of that nature. But the wristbands are not for grandma and grandpa and everyone else to come watch the show this year. We know that that's hard, but that's really important. An important piece is that that's really for animal or for family members only and essential folks to that animal in that project.
We want you to be really mindful of limiting the people who you bring to the people that are essential or the people that live in your actual household. That's what's going to really help us make sure that our fair doesn't cause a surge in the virus here in our community,
Right.
which I know we all want to protect our community.
Sure.
The other thing that's kind of really exciting, if you ask me, is the Fair Board has voted to live stream every show for free online. So, you know, it is really hard to say you can't bring grandma, grandpa, auntie, and uncle, but they'll be able to watch the show in real time as it's happening on the Fair website and on our social media. So that's also very exciting because everybody will be able to watch. If you have your date night during the steer show on Thursday night, you can still do that. It will just look different this year because you'll have to watch online from home. So the other thing to note is that every advisor for 4-H and FFA is also going to receive a wristband that will be good for the whole week, because we know that for many of our members, advisors play a critical role in making sure that that project is ready, and advisors have played a huge role in getting us to this point, so we want to make sure we include them. So advisors will get one wristband, and
that one will be good for all week.
That will be good for all week. So that's who's going to be able to come to the fair this year. Why don't we share a little bit more about what all is going to be included? So I'm talking food and the shows, those types of things.
Yeah, so you definitely don't have to bring a sack lunch. That's not how we're going to do that. So we will have a limited supply of vendors this year that will be selling food. Again, that's just for those individuals who are on the ground. So that's just for anybody that's got a wristband. We can't open this up. We aren't allowed to the general public to come get their fair food. As much as we want to be able to do that, we are not allowed to do that. So there will be food on the grounds. There are, of course, restrictions that they have to follow too, and we want everyone to recognize that and be mindful of that. But we don't feel like you've got to bring a sack lunch, because we will have, I think it's 12 vendors, or at least it is right now, that will be here on the grounds.
So we also want to make sure, you know, we're not going to set up any picnic tables or eating areas on the grounds, and we are limiting how many people can be in the arena at a time. So it would be a great idea for you to bring your bag chairs or whatever you need, so that you can create a space for yourself and your 4 family members when you're not actively showing.
And Amanda, maybe that's a great time for us to move into how the show arena is going to work. So if you read on that health plan, you look at the traffic flow section, we had to say where our entrances were and where our exits were. It's this big one-way traffic flow kind of a setup. And so basically exhibitors and families will move into the show arena, that exhibitor will show, and then they will have to then exit the show arena. We can't have folks just sitting watching the shows this year. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to work. So we encourage you to sit outside and watch it on your phone with the live stream. But we will encourage you to then move right through. Amanda, you mentioned kind of your own little camp. You're welcome to bring a pop-up tent or whatever like that, and stay distant and really set up shop for the day. That's absolutely fine. We're encouraging exhibitors to work off of their trailers as much as possible. We know there are some exhibitors that maybe borrow trailers or something of that nature, and so we will have limited opportunity for those exhibitors to be penned inside the barns, but that will really be limited. We're really encouraging our exhibitors to work off their trailers.
And it's important to note that we are not going to open the barns to the public. So, you know, if you are a person that has a wristband and a mask on, that does not mean that you get to walk through the barns this year. It's going to be, all the buildings are going to be closed unless you absolutely have to be in there to get your animal and move it to the arena. Another thing that you can expect is between every drive, you can expect somebody to announce, and now everyone who is not in the next drive needs to stand up and exit through the exit doors, because we want to make sure that A, we're keeping that distancing, and B, if you are a parent or one of the people who has the wristband to watch your exhibitor, that you actually get to watch your exhibitor.
Right.
So we're going to make sure that everybody is up and out and then reset. And yeah, that's going to kind of slow things down just a little bit, but that's what we've decided is going to be the best operation for our health and for the kids.
Right. And there'll be sanitation there's a sanitation schedule, and we'll be sanitizing through those pieces too as folks are getting up and leaving. Another really important piece when it comes to the show arena is part of the Hardin County Fair is leaning on that wooden rail and watching your favorite classes, and that is not going to work this year. Unfortunately, I'm in the process of training myself right now to not go in there and lean on that rail, but we aren't going to be able to have folks leaning on that rail this year, which is going to be another change.
Everyone's going to have to be in the stands if you are in the show arena, unless you are an exhibitor in the ring.
Right,
so
and we'll
will be in a seat. Everything will be marked off as to what seats are open and what seats are not open. And we really ask that as a community, we all work together to follow that plan, because that is what the health department has approved. That's what's going to be safe. It's also important to note that the health department will reserve the right, and the senior fair board will reserve the right to stop the show until the guidelines are being followed.
Well, and Amanda, the truth of the matter is, if someone comes in and realizes we aren't following the rules, which is not the intention at all, but if we don't enforce this, they can lock the gate at the front and everyone's going home, and that'll be the end of it. So I don't want that. I'm sure you don't want that. Nobody wants that. And so we have to do what's been laid out here and what's been approved, or the other option is padlock it and we'll see you next year. So, and we don't want to do that. And one last thing on the traffic flow is there's going to be lots of signage where it's going to be really hard to miss. You know, we've got big stickers that are going to go on the floor. So in terms of the one-way traffic flow, we're going to help you. It's not like you've got to remember all this. We're going to help you.
Right. So I did want to mention really quickly that, as we said before, the buildings on the grounds are going to be closed. And so if you are a still exhibitor, so you've got any of the cooking projects or the science projects or all of the projects that are not animal based, we are not going to have fair booths this year. And that was a really tough decision, because we know that you all have worked just as hard on your project, and that it's really exciting to showcase them. I know that a lot of the clubs have had amazing ideas for their fair booth this year. And so what we're going to do, instead of bringing your project here, there's going to be a survey sent out today, and you're going to be able to submit a photo of you and your project. That is going to be displayed in several places. First of all, of course, on the website, our social media, but also in the show arena for every show. It's going to be on a loop.
On the TVs, yep.
So that is how you'll get that premium this year, by submitting that photo. And you're going to have 10 days to get on that survey. It's going to be really short, just basically what's your name, what club are you in, and show us a picture of you with your project. And then we're going to take care of putting that into the slides, getting that all put together, and your premium check will be mailed to you. So if you are a strictly still exhibitor, then you will not get that wristband, but you will still get your premium.
If you're following along in the plan, you know there's a lot we haven't talked about yet, but with regard to each individual species, and we are going to talk about those with you individually. So Amanda, let's talk about our department meetings. The week before the fair, we are going to have department meetings where you will get to meet with your junior fair board committee and your senior fair board committee, your director, and ask those questions that you may have, and really get your species specific information as to how that barn is going to operate, how your show is going to operate. There's lots of changes in the show schedule from what's traditional. And so we will answer all of those questions, because we would be here for 2 hours if we tried to go into all that. And so Amanda will be sending out email communications as far as when those will be, and we'll have those on our Facebook page and everywhere else. But make plans to attend those meetings the week before the fair. They'll be right here in the grandstand, where we'll be able to spread out, have a safe meeting, but also answer those questions and have those conversations. Also at those meetings, you'll be able to pick up your admission wristbands, pick up your back number for when you show, pick up those masks we talked about, and there'll be a lot of information and a lot of questions asked. So we really ask you to really, if you can, make every effort to be at these meetings. They're going to be very critically important to how we're going to operate the fair this year. If you can't come, call our office after that meeting, and we'll see what we can do for you. But again, we really want to make sure that you're at those meetings if at all possible.
So we can't stress how important it is to be at these meetings. It's going to cover everything from where do I pull in, which gate do I use, where do I park my trailer, what time do I need to bring my animal where,
things like
weigh-ins, all of the little nitty-gritty details that, there's just so much And usually, you know, when we're having a normal, typical year, which hopefully we'll have next year, those are the things that we know, and that is tradition. We know what's happening. It's all outlined in the fair book. But this year, you know, there's just so many changes. It's going to be really vital that you're at these meetings. We're also kind of throwing around the idea of making sure that all of this stuff is going to be communicated to you, and it's going to happen at these meetings and also via email. So if you are not an email checker, the next 3 weeks is going to be really important that you get on there and at least check your email once a week. And I'm talking about the email that you used when you signed up for 4-H or FFA or when you put your fair entries in. So if that email happens to be your, this is where I get my coupons and the junk email, please check it, because we're going to be sending out a lot of information. You also can go on both the fair website and our extension office website, hardin.osu.edu. And that information will be posted on our websites as well.
Yep, and ours is hardincountyfair.org/coronavirus, and that's where all of the updated and accurate information is. There's a lot of misinformation going around about how we're doing things. What you can find on that website is 100% accurate, and Amanda has the same stuff on their website as well. So, and we try to blast that out to social media as well. But the website and the email are going to be really critical pieces as we come up with things like scheduling these meetings and several other things. The truth of the matter is this could all change again. And so we want to make sure, fingers crossed it doesn't, but things could still have to be tweaked. And so make sure you're keeping an eye on that email so everyone's in the know.
So what we'll do is we'll put in the comments the schedule for the meetings, because we already know that schedule. It's going to come out to you here in the next couple days with all the information in an email specific to your species meeting. So make sure that you are checking that. I ask that you please share this video so that you can not only know, but all of the other people in your club know as well.
Right.
If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call the fair office or call our office. We're doing our best to work together and make sure that all of this information is clear and delivered to everyone, which there's over 1,000 of you, I think, so it's really difficult. But if you have any questions at all, please make sure that you reach out to us, and we'll do our best to make sure you have everything that you need to have so that we can have a successful junior fair.
Right, and bring those to those meetings, because we can have conversations about those there too.
Absolutely. So if you do have questions, make sure you're checking out those websites we mentioned. You can also reach us at the extension office at 419-674-2297.
And we're 419-675-2396. Message us on Facebook, send somebody an email, get a hold of one of us, and we can get you the answer, that's for sure.
Okay, well, we look forward to seeing some of you at the Junior Fair for 2020. And for the rest of you who are a little bummed out about missing the fair, we really hope that you'll be able to get online and check out all of our shows virtually.
Absolutely. Amanda, thanks for having me today.
Thanks, Colt.